What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode. So today we're actually just doing a little bit of maintenance in the snake room. So I just pulled out before we started filming and we realized you guys probably want to see this. The striped South American rattlesnake, and she actually had a full shed. So you can see here that whole stripe down the entire shed. Now she looks beautiful. So how about we take her out and let you get a look? I just gave her some fresh water as well as cleaned out her cage because she'd go to the bathroom. So like slide these glass panels in, and let's take her out, guys. But look at this. She is super pretty right now. This is the Dorissus cumanensis. So we take a look at her on the ground. So you can see that full stripe on her, and her colors, like, I can't get over the colors of these snakes. The other one I'll take out, I don't know if he shed. This is the female. The other guy, he has more orange where she's more yellow. But as you can see, she's getting kind of large. She's probably about 1.5 feet, 2 feet long now. And she's gotten a few beads on there. And I would say she is, I believe she's like 6 months old. 6 to 8 months old. So let's get her back in her enclosure. And she's not too bad. Her being a pit viper, they do lock onto heat very well. And these guys can be a little twitchy. So, let's see. But the trick is, guys, is just be super calm. Not to grab her, just kind of see how I put her tail on my hand when I want to tail her. She really doesn't even know I'm holding her versus like a hook. And that's the trick with most venomous snakes, is just to be super calm with them. Treat them with respect. Obviously don't scare them, and don't be scared of them, because when you are, that's how you make mistakes. And she's actually, believe it or not, the more defensive of the two South American rattlesnakes that I got. Let's check out the male. So we're gonna give him some fresh water. Today what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go through everything and give everything fresh water.
Sorry.
Let's see him. And he, from the bat, looks like he hasn't shed yet. Yeah, he hasn't shed. He's dark. Oh, he's super dark. So he'll probably shed either tonight or tomorrow. But as you can see, he's got all the diamonds, like a typical pattern. And his color is really dull right now, but typically it's super bright orange. So, I mean, these are absolutely beautiful snakes. I can't wait to see what they look like as adults, because I got these from Mark McCarthy. His adults are really pretty, but the babies they throw out are amazing. Like, I haven't seen what these guys look like full grown with this color. I don't know if his pair throws out like I said, some hypos or maybe orange phase ones, but they definitely don't look like the parents. So now we'll get some fresh water in there. And he didn't use the bathroom either, so probably what will happen is when he sheds, he'll use the bathroom and then we'll have to come back and clean his cage again. So let's get him back in his enclosure. And he's a little smaller than the female, just because when they were both neonates, which basically means when they're babies, he didn't eat as well as she did. She did not miss a meal from her entire life. He's missed a couple because he's just been a little pickier. So let's get him in there. But he's super mellow. And as you can see, with rattlesnakes for this species, you can tell the difference between a male and a female based off the length of the tail. So his, right where the hook is, that's where his cloaca is. And he's got probably 2, if not 3 times longer tail than that female. So let's put him back in there. And I'll wait for him to shed before I offer him another meal. The female, I'll probably feed, today's Friday, I'll probably feed Monday. I'll give her a couple days. So I'll probably feed them both on Monday. And right now they're eating 2 large mice. All right, so next up that we're gonna clean the water of is actually the Southern Pacific rattlesnakes. And we gotta be careful because we got 2 in here. So I don't wanna forget about one while I'm grabbing the other. These guys tend to be a little bit nippy. The albino's not too bad, but the het albino male can be a little cantankerous. And these guys actually have a really toxic venom, especially for some of their range. Some of these rattlesnakes are incredibly toxic and a very, very bad bite. So you do not want to get bit by these. But like I said with the South American rattlesnakes, guys, if you just are calm with them, like see, he doesn't really notice that I'm holding him. He's kind of like, what is going on? I'm on a hook. He's not really too concerned. He's not rattling. So I'm just gonna put him right down in his bucket. And then I'm gonna grab out the female. And I am hoping to get babies from these guys. That'd be absolutely awesome. But also, another thing, guys, while we're dealing with venomous snakes, since there are 2 in the enclosure, I want to make sure I get both of them out before I service the water. Even though it's a 4-foot cage, and odds are, if I reach in there to grab that water, she wouldn't even strike at me. But just because we want to do everything right, we're going to take them both out. Because you never want to service a venomous cage with an animal in it. So let's take a look at this albino. Because in my opinion, the albino southern Pacific rattlesnakes are probably the prettiest of all albino rattlesnakes. That's even with like the albino westerns and the albino easterns. I love these guys. The oranges that are in their saddles and their bands are incredible. I mean, that is a beautiful snake. And like I said, these are pit vipers, so they're not like an Elapid that doesn't have any heat pits. These guys will actually lock onto you, and the heat pits are right below their nostrils. They're, I don't know if the camera's gonna pick it up, but they're rather large, so they're not easy to miss. But we're gonna go ahead and put these guys in the bucket together. Now I just wanna be slow with this because I don't want the male to freak out and strike her. Even though she'd be fine, I just don't like it to happen. But as you can see, they're both getting rather large, and who knows, fingers crossed, we may have some babies next season. So let's cover these guys up. Maybe we can get them a little quiet. They don't want to be quiet. All right, so let me grab. So I've got my water bucket, so I can just easily dump this in here. And you probably noticed that all these cages are lit up except for that one. The light actually went out, so we're waiting to get a replacement LED light. So hopefully in a week we'll get the light back onto that enclosure. So let's get this clean water bowl with some water and get these guys back in their enclosure. Now, all right, and then one thing I do with the bucket, guys, so since I deal with a lot of pit vipers and a lot of vipers that are strike up and out rather than cobras that just strike down, I do put this little latch on there. It's simple, it's just duct tape, but what that does is after I unlatch one side, I got a little shield. So it really helps out when you're dealing with the larger pit vipers, like say the Western Diamondback. We are gonna get some Bushmasters, so say when the Bushmasters are adults, or any big viper that can strike the size of a bucket, that helps out perfectly. So these little guys, just showing you how it's done. So let's grab this out. And like I said, you just want to be really smooth with venomous, calm, calculated decisions. And this little guy likes to rattle. So there's the male. And these guys are local. You can find these guys located down in like Southern California, central to Southern California, and I believe even in Arizona, but predominantly the Southern California, Central California region down there. And the albino is actually a naturally occurring phase. So it's a simple recessive, so it wasn't just produced in captivity. Someone actually found one of these and then kept it and had babies with a normal one, produced hets, and then continued the trait that way. So this was all naturally occurring. But albinos in the wild don't tend to do that well because they're so brightly colored that birds of prey or anything that eats a baby snake will just pick up on this snake so easily with that bright coloration to pick them off. They're easy prey. So he's right there. Let's go ahead and put her on this side of the water bowl. And they do pretty well together, so I'm not worried about him biting her. So let's put her in there. That is one of the things about dealing with two snakes in the same enclosure is just like that. You got to worry about where one is at all times when you're dealing with the other one. But I mean, they in the wild, these guys will be found in den sites where there's hundreds of them put together. So they are a very communal species, and for breeding purposes, having them together is perfect. So let's go on to the next thing. All right, so next up is actually the beaded lizard, and as you can tell, he makes a mess. So I'm gonna have to clean up this area because in order to open this cage, all this cypress mulch is gonna have to be dealt with. So the joys of having lizards. Don't get me wrong, guys. I love bearded lizards, but they are messy. So let's just get that mess out of the way. And he's like, "Are you feeding me? Because I would like some food." So he's very, very curious lizard, and that's because he is like hungry. He's like, feed me, feed me. I'll take some. Let's see, so let's go ahead and just let him know we're not feeding him. So all I'm gonna do is I'll actually take him out and just let him walk around a little bit, but I'm just gonna touch his head. So that way she's like, okay, you're not feeding me. Just break that initial food response. And then we'll put her down here. And we can let her chill while I get the water out. And then I'm about to clean this track. So, oh wait, handy dandy hook. So now that I have that cleaned out, I can actually take out the feed its water bowl and dump it. Yeah, there's that clean. All right, well now that I got the track of this cage all clean, or maybe her cage, don't know if it's boy or girl, but we're gonna put her in because she's got some fresh water. And just going off this from what you're seeing, guys, this track is kind of annoying because I do need to get maybe a shop vac or something to clean this all out. So that's probably what's gonna happen next. That way we can clean this and it'll slide and fit in the grooves nicely. And you're seeing me use the duct tape because I actually have to pull the acrylic out a little bit. One of the problems with acrylic is it does bend a little bit. However, we did just get little knobs I'm gonna install today. So that way when we slide it, we can fit it in the groove perfectly. Besides that, these cages are awesome. So let's put a lock on him. And then we will clean and water the last snake of the day, which will actually be the Blue Barons, which she is down here. Now she is hungry, because they always are hungry. Barons Racers have a crazy feeding response, and she's actually in shed because I can see a blue haze over her eyes. So let's go ahead and pull her out so you guys can take a look at her. This one, I've shown her a couple times, and it seems like you guys really like her. I mean, this is a beautiful snake. She's not in her best colors right now, but as you can see, look at that beautiful blue. And she's a little bit more gray than normal because I said she isn't shed. Now this is a rear fang snake from South America. This is in the genus Philodryas. This is Philodryas barani. And these guys are also known as Argentine long-nosed snake. But as you can see right there, that is her cloaca. So one of the things about Barons Racers is when they are in their cage, they have a crazy food response. And then when they're not in their cage, they typically don't bite, but when they don't bite, they poop on you. They musk you, so that way you put them down. So that way they're like, hey, don't hold me, I smell bad. So let's go ahead and get her some fresh water while I have her out. So we'll dump this. And then one thing, like I said, I like to do is every time I give a reptile fresh water, I just clean out the water bowl from any kind of sediment that's been sitting there before I give them the fresh water, so it's just as clean as possible. But yeah, these Barons are amazing. She's probably pushing 6.5 feet, maybe a little bigger. This is about as big as an adult female will get. The males get about roughly 5 to 6 feet, with some small ones being 4. So anywhere from 4 to 6 feet, average 5. But these guys are awesome. Like I said, a few other videos, I do hope to produce these again, because I produced them 4 or 5 times now. So not since I've been in Florida though. So I'd like to have some babies down here. So if anyone around or wants some babies when they do come out, I will be making them available for our fans first. But I'm gonna go ahead and put her away. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. It was just a mellow one, cleaning cages, but we'll see you on the next one.